Well, hello and welcome, everybody. It's great to see so many people, some familiar faces on a Saturday afternoon, no less. We really appreciate you taking the time. I'm always curious. It'd be great if people aren't too shy, whether to come off camera or feel free to put this in the chat. But I love learning where everybody is joining us from. So I'm coming to you live from Mo'iliili on Oahu. Where else are folks joining us from? Oh, I see a colleague from Kauai, Makali, Kahaluu. Wow. Oh, Nui. Wow. That's great. Hi, Sai. Yes. Makiki. Great. We're also trying to learn, how to get the word out about these events. So I'm curious too if folks want to just put it in a chat or unmute themselves. Would love to hear how you found out about this really great talk that we're having featuring Professor Akiyama. Instagram. Ooh, is that the park's Instagram? OGSH. I'm so sorry. Oh, wow, California. Instagram. I'm sorry, what's OGSH? So you're going to have to spell that out for me, Theodore. Sorry. Ohio. Oh, and Okinawa, California. Pololo. I love it. Wow. Quite an international group. Well, folks want to keep putting some information in the chat about where you're joining us from. Oh, thank you. Okinawa Geological Society of Hawaii. Or JCO newsletter. That really helps us to understand kind of where people are getting their information. And much mahalos to all our partners for helping to get the word out. Wow, Seattle, Washington. Great. Well, I will start the talk so you guys can have as much time with Kaori as you can and ask her some wonderful questions, I'm sure, that will be generated from the great information she'll be sharing with us. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Christina Gura. I'm the superintendent of Honouliuli National Historic Site. This year, we are commemorating 10 years since the park was established as a national park and have a whole series of events throughout the year highlighting different aspects of the camp and its history. And this month, what we're focusing on is the Okinawan POWs. Honouliuli was actually predominantly a prisoner of war camp with over 4,000 prisoners of war from Okinawa, Korea, Japan, and Italy over its 3 years when it was open from 43 and 46. And so today we are very lucky to have Professor Kaori Akiyama, who is one of our virtual speaker series, which is sponsored by the park's nonprofit, Pacific Historic Parks. And behind the scenes, Wes is part of our great team that helps us to host these every month. Very thankful for his technical expertise and his interpretive experience and background. So with that, I will be happy to introduce Kaori and give her the time to be able to share the research that she's been doing at the park on the Okinawan POWs. So Professor Akiyama is an assistant professor at the Division of Japanese Studies in the Graduate School of Humanities at the University of Osaka. After studying at the University of Hawaii, she received her PhD in Japanese history from the Graduate University for Advanced Studies, Sokendai, in 2018. She's the author of The History of Japanese Internment in Hawaii, Changes in the Camps and Camp Life During the Pacific War, which is in Japanese, but I know she's working hard to get that translated in English, so we're really excited when that's going to be available to us. Her areas of study are the history of Japanese in Hawaii and Okinawan prisoners of war during World War II, and the study of cultures and presentations. So we're really excited to hear from her today, and with that, I will hand it over to Kaori.
Hi, thank you, Christine, for introducing me. Aloha, my name is Kaori Akiyama. I really appreciate this great opportunity for NPS and also coming to my talk in your weekend. But anyway, let me start my talk, and I am going to share the slide. Just a moment. Once again, thank you. So let's join my talk. My talk entitled Life in Honouliuli for Okinawan POWs Crews Revealed in Documents, Oral History, and Memories. So this is presentation outline. I will talk about the background of POWs in Hawaii, but the main topic of, actually, main focus of my today's talk is finding locations of Okinawan POWs in Honouliuli. I will talk a little bit about camp lives of Okinawan POWs and after war, how they are telling the history. Well, to talk about the background, I want to talk a little bit about myself, but already Christine introduced my study. My dissertation was about the complete history of Japanese interment sources. I chose the word interment, not incarceration, but I studied it. And my postdoctoral research was about the Okinawan POWs in Hawaii. During this time, I lived in Okinawa for 1.5 years. And so today's talk is from my findings from during my study from 2018 to 2022. Sources, I want to emphasize sources in my talk today, documents or histories and memories. Now, we have to talk about a little bit of former studies, but I just appreciate there is a pile of already studies, especially about the site. So especially by Barton and Farrell. And needless to say that social processing Hawaii volume 45 was breaking the silence. So it shows the aspects of the site Honouliuli as POW camps, and maybe you have seen the studies about 11 years ago. So in Hawaii also, Kerry Nakamura and Brandon Markhiga, he will be the next presenter in this series, published about Okinawan POWs in Hawaii. So if you take a look at the Okinawa side, actually there is another surge in uncovering the history of Okinawan POWs. For example, journalist Shima Bukuro wrote about the book. Actually, it was series of newspaper article. He featured a person named Noboru Gima. He was born on Maui, but he was adopted by his grandparents. And but after the war broke out, he was captured by the U.S. troops and sent to Hawaii as a POW, and he was released in Hawaii. He was able to join his family on Maui again. But after the war, he became an American soldier and he went to, let's say, the Korean Peninsula as counterintelligence corp, and his life was widely reported in the newspaper Ryukyu Shimpo. Today, the version of his story, but comic version of his story was released because the concept and actually the opportunity is telling the Battle of Okinawa to younger generations. Also, there is a series of articles about Okinawan POW by a former professor at the Ryukyu University named Dr. Nakahoro. So if you look at two sides, let's say Hawaii and Okinawa, you can see the surge in uncovering the history of Okinawan POWs started about 10 years ago. Now, sources, I just want to show where I get sources. This is National Archives Record Administration, Maryland, as known as NARA 2. I visited there. It was my fourth visit in March. Well, that was the end of the last intensive research day. So I made a shaka sign in front of the building. Also, we have dupes of the US military documents, a US document at our National Diet Library in Japan, Tokyo. So we can access those sources in Japan too. Where else we can access US documents? One is at the on the notable places, Okinawa Prefectural Archives. Well, I don't go into the details of these archives, but interesting about the archives, even they hold many of USCA USCAR document administration of Ryukyu Islands, the US documents. So we can visit, actually Japanese scholars and researchers visit these facilities to see US documents. This is one of them I obtained from the Okinawan Prefecture Library. This is a list of the Okinawan POWs, actually registration records. When I didn't discover it, but I reconfirmed the existence of the record. The newspaper article says that it was kind of discovered because people in Okinawa were looking for the list of Okinawan POWs. So, but anyway, so this was widely broadcast, and people actually visited the archives to find their relatives and sometimes fathers and so on and so forth. But I will go back to this list later. Where else we can find at the Okinawa Prefecture, Okinawa Prefecture archives. This is interesting one. This is a report regarding repatriates from Hawaii. It has 700 pages of individuals and 3 volumes. I'm still in the process of examining these volumes, but anyway, I think the local Okinawan officials recorded as the repatriate spoke where they were, and they needed to go through repatriation process. So if you see, I picked 2 pages. We can see the same word, same actually dates. Those 2 said in 1945, July 14th, they were at the Hawaii Honouliuli. Same year, October 8th, they started maybe life, they were at the Sand Island. So everybody wrote something different. And so this is really precious record. I think so now we can say that at least one group of Okinawan POWs was moved to the Sand Island this date. Oral history. I just appreciate former POWs and their families. They always welcomed me to have interviews and personal stories. Some of them already passed away, but today I will talk about the Mr. Yorinobu Kamiya, and he passed away in 2019. But and also Mr. Hikoshin Toguchi, he's still active. And also Mr. Shozo Nakasone is still active. And so they were really kind and also really open heart to welcome me. So I will talk about the oral history. The other oral set of oral history, I just have to appreciate National Park Service. In 2017, the first planner at the Honouliuli in the Rebecca Rhinas, and I conducted 7 film interviews in Okinawa. The newspaper said 7, but actually we met 8 people. And well, we were asked to have press conference. And in Okinawa, our activities had lots of actually attentions. So anyway, this says that the first time, the first time starting, the U.S. Department of Interior will conduct interviews with 7 former Okinawan prisoners of war in order to preserve memories of Honouliuli of Hawaii during World War II. So one of the photos I took when we visited Mr. Tokuyama. Mr. Tokuyama also passed away. She brought some pictures of Honouliuli to recall their memories, and we had interviews like this, and so I helped her for interpretation and also coordinating the travel. That was really I think we made a maybe set of filmed oral histories, and this set will be held at the archive at the Honouliuli. One day you can see the films, I guess. Memoir. There are so many. I just want to show you two books as published as books. Yes, by Yasuokayo, Island for Captives. This is a form of literature, very beautiful way of writing. He published in 1995. So Chosho Tokuyama's book on the right, you see Aloha Uchinanchu PW, means POWs. So this is a detailed memoirs, almost documentation. So I will cite some of his writing in the later part of this talk. Some of them are familiar with this. So yes, this is the history of Jesus sections, the chart. So usually we see this a copy at JCCH. Well, so we started to have the common knowledge, and there are at least 13 sites on the 30 POW sites, on the island of Oahu and also the Big Island. Let's move on. The chart, okay, so I just want to show you that you can see when the the most the biggest number of the ethnic group. For example, in September 1945, the number of Okinawan POW increased so much. As you can see, the number gradually decreased. Okay, later on, but we can see in which period the biggest number of ethnic groups in POW and so on and so forth. So I know it's broad letters, but you can see there's no German POWs here. We see only Japanese, Italian, Korean Okinawans, Formosans. So, well, we can skip these. I just placed these numbers of compound on the map. Just a general idea. So some of them already know about that. Source. This is called a daily report, or sometimes physical check and morning report. So the number of the detainees was counted every morning. I just picked this date because 1944, February 8th, just maybe it's okay, just before the number of prisoners of war was getting bigger. You can see something like this. Male internees 170, female 4, prisoners of war 171, the total is 354. Actually, this source is not nothing new for this talk, and already for my studies show that used this physical check. But I obtained most of the period of the internment site of the Honouliuli. So anyway, from the daily checks, I made this graph focusing on the number of POWs. I picked this date. I picked this date because 1944 in July, I don't see the number of POWs. So you can see drastic change of the number of POWs in 1944, but I stopped seeing the number of POW on the daily check in July of 1944. My guess is since the number of POWs increased so much and maybe camp administrators decided to not counting together with internees, maybe they set a different they set a different way of counting. That's my guess. But anyway, I wanted to show the change of the site was accepting lots of POWs. So this is maybe too too many details in it. Just I make just an entire picture of, overview of transporting shown on POWs. Italian army side for my studies, and so some mainland scholar already indicate that they are from North African campaign, and some of them, especially as classified as non-collaborators to the United States Army, was considered as fascist, and some of them were sent to Hawaii. But if we take a look at the Japanese Army side, for convenience, I've divided POWs into those from Pacific War and those from the Battle of Okinawa. I don't know when they started to separate Japanese and Okinawans among POWs, but in the beginning of the Pacific Theater, all Japanese army soldiers was rounded up and captured and sent to somewhere, I think, maybe including Hawaii. But in the Battle of Okinawa, as soon as they capture Japanese soldiers and personnel, including non-combatant and combatant, they divided Okinawan soldiers and personnel and Korean military workers and Japanese POW. Japanese POWs means Japanese from the Japanese mainland. So not all of them, but some of Okinawan soldiers and personnel and Korean military workers were sent to TH, while Japanese POWs were remained in Okinawa under the US rules. But actually there was expression some Japanese POWs were sent to Hawaii. But in general, I just want to talk that they were divided into Okinawans and Koreans and Japanese on the battlefield of Okinawa already. So this is my kind of research question. So what happened the creating for categories of POWs in TH? I said sorry for means a major for ethnic groups of POWs in Hawaii. I'm not sure when and which section of department decided to set apart Okinawans from the Imperial Japanese military. So, I think the four categories and different ethnic groups, the POWs, this is a characteristic of Honouliuli comparing to the mainland POW camps. So let's look at mainland classification of Axis POWs. Okay, this is from, again, National Archives. So if you see enemy prisoners of war, you see German, Italian, and Japanese. Significant part is the December 1945, you see the big change, the number of big change, 2086 to 1. What happened? The same record says the Japanese prisoners of war are transferred to Hawaii in January 1946 in order that Italian prisoners of war could be released. So I just showed you the record after the war, but let's go back a little bit before. This is a record of the 1944, August 1st. The document is entitled Expansion of Honouliuli Camp. This is actually Army Engineer Corps document. I typed out from the part saying that the Korean prisoners of war will remain on Oahu to be utilized as labor. So by this date, they already decided the policy toward Korean prisoners of war. And also they were talking about how to make a capacity on the Sand Island so that they could hold Japanese Koreans prisoners of war more than 2,500 or so. So there was always a circulation of the group of POWs, either big groups or small groups within the territory of Hawaii and also between the mainland and territory of Hawaii. So I talked about Korean and the Japanese, and next I want to show the Okinawan POWs, but it's actually difficult to obtain Okinawan POWs record. So, okay, the document said that the Okinawan group was the last prisoner of war to Hawaii. The group were many Okinawan boys in their teens who had been pressed into labor service for the Japanese in Okinawa. These youngsters, some of them so young as 14 and 15 years old, were pathetic in their lack of comprehension of what they were supposed to do and why they were classified as POWs. This is really one of actually really rare documentation about the military, U.S. military about Okinawan POWs. Anyway, so I want to look for more clues. We have to think about the Battle of Okinawa to understand the lives of Okinawan POWs in Hawaii, but some of them already know the battle that I just want to say, emphasize that can you believe that approximately the 1/4 of the entire Okinawan population was, passed away due to the battle? So many of Okinawan POWs started the first camp life at the Ayaka POW camp. Overview of number of Okinawan POWs I created, but I've been revising this chart every time I found something. So since I have limited time, I just want to show just a little bit about, explain a little bit about this chart. Starting Hawaii, the registration form, a list of the Okinawan POWs. The total number is 3,688. So the chart shows how this number was divided into different groups and finally went back to Okinawa. The number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 indicates the chronological order in which POWs were transported. Destination, the place where POWs were sent, have been divided in destination 1 and destination 2. I will just speak group 1 after this, and also I will show the person of the personal story about the last group, 5C. Though the last group actually stayed in Hawaii for 1.5 years. This is group 1. I just want to show the route. So they went to Seattle and they were confined at the, on the Angel Island when went back to Hawaii. Among group 1, I will talk about Mr. Kamiya Yorinobu. I found his name on the list. he was 16, he was 17 when he was captured as a POWs. So today's main topic is finding location of Okinawan POWs in Honouliuli. I want to focus on 2 places. Okay, so I will switch. This is about interview to Mr. Kamiya in 2018 May. That interview was follow-up research with Becky Rainas. And so we found something very interesting thing he said, and I wanted to confirm it. So I visited him by myself after that. I brought some pictures of Honouliuli, so I'm showing him some pictures. Come here, the record was okay. He spoke as he remembered, and so in other words, he remembers that he spoke in so sometimes he repeats the same thing, but please listen because I put English subtitles, so you will understand.
7月の半ば前後に、
はい、
ハワイに着いてるわけですよ。そうするとですね、
はい、
僕らが行った時こんな建物なんかないんですよ。
そうなんですか。
はい。だから僕らが出る時にですね、
はい、
地獄谷から、はい、そこにジャーマンキャンプ、それからイタリアンキャンプと2つの大きな建物があったわけです。
2つ。
それに、はい、ジャーマンキャンプでも、はい、そうですね、約200名近くは入ってたんじゃないですか。それからイタリアンもね、はい、そのぐらいの大きさのものがあって、はい、でその前にいろいろ炊事の建物ね、それから医療ね、はいはい、あれが炊事場の近くであったし、はい、また医療今義馬君が仕事してたというのは、医療を手当てするあれの次だったかな、そういう建物で、はい、ここの右側にどういう建物か分かりませんでした。食堂なんか大きな食堂がね、炊事場のすぐあれについてまた大きな広間があったんですから、そこで食事をとりよったんです。
それかなり大きな食堂ですか？
だいたい200-300名は入ったんじゃないですか。
なるほど。なるほど。200-300名入る。で、その食堂の前って橋ありました？橋はなかった。橋はなかったですね。どんどんこう狭くなって突き当たりのところに、これが地獄谷だとしたら長細いのありますよね。この突き当たりじゃなくて入り口付近にいました。地獄谷の入り口っていうのかな。
突き当たりの方の広くなったところに、
広くなったところに
ジャーマンキャンプと
イタリアンがあったんですね。
これは同じ大体大きさの建物ができて、この建物の前方の方に今言う炊事場、それからレストラン、食堂ですね。大きな食堂があって、それから医療施設ですね。
医療施設があって、
それから洋服ですか。今皮膚を配っていた義馬君なんかの働いていたこの配給
のところがあったんですね。
そこのやる そばを通ってこのパールハーバーに抜ける道のこれはこのパールハーバーに出ていく時は右側に炊事場も食堂なんかも広場右側にあるわけで、左側はそこを出ていく時は丘のあれになって、この建物なんか建てられなかった、ちょっとこの、イタリアンキャンプ、ジャーマンキャンプはですね、だからそこ入っていった時にちょっと大きな広場があったから2つが建てられたんじゃないかなと思ってます。
じゃあ神谷さんたちはそのどこにいたんですかね。
ジャーマンキャンプ。
ジャーマンキャンプにいたんですか。
ジャーマンの建物のキャンプの中に、ベッドの中に入ってたんです。
あ、わかりました。ありがとうございます。
大きな建物でしたよ。
そうですか。それはもうその時はジャーマンはいなかった。いないけどジャーマンキャンプ、イタリアンキャンプって呼んでたんですね。やっとわかりました。この前ね、その意味がよくわからなかったんですよ。So, Mr. Kamiya's story was really interesting. So, we talked about this part. So, next site is this really, familiar photo. It's called Compound 7 in Honouliuli map. And so this is from JCCH. So I showed you the, excuse me, sorry about that. I showed you the, I just introduced about the book written by Tokuyama, Aloha Uchinanchu PWs. I will cite some of the, indication we can find in his writing. He said, the site of the internment camp was square in shape. On three sides, it bordered an inclined road running along the surrounding hills. There was a gate in the middle of the fourth side. Sorry. He even said, okay, this is the blueprint I borrowed from Bart and Farrell in 2017. They found this blueprint at the Schofield Archives. So he even said, once past the gate, the road became a main road approximately 10 meters in width. At the end of the road was a large building with showers. So Jeff and Murray already indicated that this building is a shower unit. And this is the map created by, Jeff Burton. So according to him, this was created by with the blueprint and also AI photo. So we can take a look at this one to match the Tokuyama's memories. He said the living quarters were located on either side of the main road. On the left were the quarters for Okinawan POWs. On the right were the quarters for Korean POWs. So now this is a part we have to consider it as a memory. You'll see just a slight difference in number in both materials. The living quarter on the left and the right were not completely open. They were separated by a single layer of barbed wire in perhaps, he said, perhaps 6 enclosures. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Within each enclosure were 8 lodging tents. We see more than 8, but with each tent housing 8 POWs. Behind this tent was a single tent with toilet facility. So this was this kind of structure was already also indicated by Bart and Farrell. Lastly, he said beyond the road was a single barracks building. This was a camp office nearby. There were 2 large tents that were used as kitchen and storeroom. exactly his description matched to the photo. So now, as we saw their lives, and so lots of people asked me to camp lives Okinawan POWs in Honouliuli, but actually this is a little bit difficult to talk about it because lots of actually the massive actually communication between local Okinawans and Okinawan POW started after the Okinawan POWs moved to the Sand Island. Of course, its initial kind of meeting was started in the Honouliuli period. So as we all know that the Okinawan POWs moved from the camp Honouliuli to camp Sand Island. So, but I would say their significance of their experience of selections. The first of all, registration. For example, Mr. Hikoshin Toguchi says that the registration work was done on the bank on the river that flows through the camp. NPS people might think, which bank? Which part of the bank? So we can't know, but bank of the river, okay, was anyway the portion of the Honouliuli was used for POW registration. From that registration, we can see 3,688 names on the list. The person, actually Nisei Japanese American soldier, helped the interpretation and the registration according to the Mr. Toguchi's oral history. So I will move on. Subsequent classifications, filaria worms. Okay, infected with filaria worms, so have physical disability. POWs were actually sent back to Okinawa sooner. This is the title of the document said prisoner of war, which are recommended to be returned to Okinawa because of filaria or physical disability, because they were not the administrative admin considered they were not clarified as good laborers. So they try to, sort out good laborers for the post-war labor work, I think. Anyway, let's move on. Another similar document. Aged 16 or younger, or maybe aged 45 or older, were likewise deemed unsuited for rigorous work. So there is a pile of the list like this. Let's move on. Camp lives, but still I want to share some the lives of their, their camp lives at the Honouliuli. There are so many local history books in Okinawa, so I picked some stories from there. Due to time, I can't read all, but let's pick one, the third one. Okay, we had 3 meals a day. They even included pork and chicken. It was like living in heaven. I was able to rest for 2 months, so my physical condition improved. So they experienced the Battle of Okinawa. So they felt like Honouliuli. Staying on the Honouliuli was like a heaven. Post-war, their repatriation to Okinawa and telling the history. So I just want to show that when they were moved to Hawaii, they departed from Chatham, this side of the island of Okinawa where U.S. troops landed. But when they came back from Hawaii or Angel Island, they reached the different place, and so some of them were brought back to the Camp Yaka. Anyway, some people know that there was a pilgrimage to Honouliuli Monument in 2017, June 5th. The first time for visiting from POW to the site, and I was there. So these two former POWs are Mr. Hikoshin Toguchi and Mr. Saneyoshi Furugen. I want to talk a little bit about their post-war lives and activities. Mr. Furugen is now 96 years old. He's still okay, and he was only 16 years old when he was captured into his battle. He became actually Diet members of Japan. Diet is Japanese para system politics, and so he was at the Honouliuli, and one day he observed a big commotion among the American soldiers, and he found that the war was over, so I don't have to be killed, he thought. But following his return to Okinawa, Furugen went back to high school because he was only 16 when he became a POWs, and later he decided to attend the university in Osaka. He became a lawyer after that. So now but until maybe several years ago, he was very active as the activist and supported anti-protecting U.S. base in Okinawa. And he is really well-known person in Okinawa now. So Mr. Toguchi, he learned how to speak English actually during his confinement. He said he became a successful businessman, and he's 98 years old, and he actually established a propane gas business, and his business thrived. But Mr. Toguchi has been widely recognized for his service to the community and has received many awards, including an Imperial Award for Social Contribution Programs. He led a group of people to Honouliuli and by calling for memorial service in Hawaii. So I think I probably have to finish the talk. I was going to share a 2 minutes video in the end. So what do you think about it? But anyway, I gave a talk at the Okinawan Prefecture Library in 2020, and in the end, we can just listen to what Mr. Toguchi said in question answer.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Just looking at the time.
Okay.
I know I have so many questions, but I am sure so many other people have so many questions for you too.
Okay,
So I think
let's
Wes
take
is
it
going to
back.
help us navigate some of the questions as well. You're more than welcome to put them in the chat, direct them directly to Kaori or myself. So I see some thank yous in the chat. So maybe I will start with some questions. So in total, I think you've done a lot of extensive research, both archives and talking to people directly who were at Honouliuli. And I just wanted to ask, when you started this research, now looking back, what's kind of been the most surprising aspect of what you've been finding?
Wow, this is really difficult, tough question. So what surprising aspect? Well, well, I published today's talk is based on my publication in 2018, and I had to make a conclusion that people felt rest. People felt so much rest. People have good memories about Honouliuli. When we consider POW camps and confinement, we tend to have negative kind of images. But in fact, some of former POWs I visited with Becky, in 2017, even thanked to her that because of you folks, you fed us a lot, and so we recovered from really, tiredness and so on and so forth. So that was really interesting part for me, how people consider their experience on Honouliuli.
Yeah. So we have a couple questions in the chat. Renee asks, are there any Honouliuli Okinawan POW memoir books written in English?
I'm sorry to say maybe not book in English yet. So I would encourage someone to establish a project to translate from Japanese memoir into English. I can make a selection.
Yeah, I think the park would love to take you up on that offer. It's one of the things we've been working on. I'm going to do a shameless plug that we're starting up the park's volunteer program, and we definitely have a strong research component for the volunteer needs, and this would fall in line with one of those volunteer opportunities. So that is something that we're planning to do. So yes, we will take you up on that offer, and if you can point out those chapters, we will definitely work to find somebody who can help translate those chapters, Renee.
Excuse me. I appreciate this kind of questions because the one of the focuses of my talk today is I want to say there is a pile of sources in Japanese and in Okinawa. So we just have to go beyond the boundary of language.
Absolutely. So Sharon says, are there records showing specifically where in each camp POWs or incarcerated citizens were held?
Oh, okay. This is also a tough question, but the record, well, it depends on the record, I think, and then some of them are not clear, I guess. So, record, which record? I'm sorry, I showed many of them, but the repatriation report, it says clearly that who was there, which date, but based on their memory. So if I can maybe analyze 700 pages, maybe this will be a really interesting result. This is my one future project. Thank you.
Sounds like you need to have many lifetimes,
Yes, I
Kaori,
think so.
for all the questions that we still need answers to. So Burns asks, how did the Okinawan POWs who we now know were primarily the young boys who were in the labor corps treated while at Honouliuli? Were they required to perform labor?
Oh, but this is on the based on the record I showed you that it has a date of birth of the each POWs, so we can know the age, but we can't know that how they were treated equally. So I think the camp admin made a separation from the young boys from the core labor unit. But I'm not sure whether I'm replying to Brandon's question.
So Ryan says in any of your interviews, did the survivors talk about any interactions with Hawaii Okinawans?
In action, excuse me.
Did it in your interviews? Did any of the survivors talk about any interactions with the local Hawaii
Oh,
Okinawan community?
sure. A lot. Many people feel like I thanked local Okinawan people. Yes. Well, I can talk about the subject another hour, but today I intentionally cut off the part because there was already study and also all other histories. So yes, and you can find lots of description about the exchange between local Okinawans with POW in local history books. I will tell you this. One person said he was working for picking up trash on the beach. Unknown person was near to him by calling his father's name.
Oh, wow.
Just like his father, and
Yeah.
something like that. So,
Wow. So I think we have time for one more question, and then I will thank you and wrap up a bit. Do we know much about the Japanese American guards who were working at Honouliuli?
I just have to rely on the last names showing on the document, and some,
Great. So I think I had, for everybody on the talk today, I did invite Kaori. We were chatting before the talk started about other things, and she clearly has done a lot of research and has a lot more knowledge to share with us. So we hope in the future we can welcome her back to talk about some other aspects of her research. But we do have another talk focused on POWs, Okinawan POWs, next Saturday with Brandon Higa. And he's actually going to give us some more historical context for us to better understand kind of the information that Kaori shared. So please join us for his talk, which is next Saturday at 3 p.m. Hawaii time. And you can find that information on the park's website. And I will put that in the chat there and register for that talk as well. And I think what he's going to share with us is really going to help understand better what Professor Akiyama shared with us today. So with that, I want to thank you, Wes, with PHP, and all of you for joining us on a Saturday afternoon to learn more about this history and to share with us your questions and how you came to enjoy the talk that she gave, hopefully. So if you have folks who unfortunately had to miss it because they couldn't make it, these are recorded. So check back to the park's website. We do try to get them up within a couple weeks after the talk. So share that with friends and families and others who were interested but may not have been able to make the talk. So again, have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you so much, Kaori. I know I learned a lot and everybody else has learned a lot.
Thank you so much for all of the talks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
マ
Bye,
ハロー。
everybody.